Hello. Hello to the people who are here and to the people who are watching this later. um, so, the Owl House. How is everyone feeling? Are we okay? That is the question I'm going to try to answer. Are we okay? I don't know about that. At least as of right now, things are rough. But overall, I am very happy. I am very happy with thanks to them with the episode. I've already been drawing basically all day. Just to get out some of that excitement. And I'm going to continue. So for now, at least, I'm going to work on coloring in this comic that I've been working on literally all day. But I will take requests as well. But wow. Thanks to them, 44 minutes of chaos. Absolutely fantastic. Blew me away. I think I'm doing better than I thought I'd be, actually, especially with what happens at the end. Spoiler warning right now, if you haven't seen it, because I will be talking about it. Because I just need to vent. Yeah, I mean, jumping right into it, like, I was expecting murder. I was not expecting this murder. So, that was a little unexpected. Now I'm forgetting the name of the artist, but there was an artist, an online artist a fan artist who made a fan comic quite a few weeks ago now, that kind of predicted this, and now I'm like, yes. Yep. They manifested it into being, and I'm very sad. But also, okay, let me talk about the things I'm happy about, okay? Like, one thing is that we know, like, oh my gosh, this episode was rushed. Like, the pacing is bad. It just straight up is. But, like, the crew had no choice in that matter because they had a choice. Their choice was keep everything they were going to do in season 3 and make the pacing a little whack, or dumb down the story to make it fit into 44 minutes. And I'm glad they chose the first option, because, like, even though I can forgive the pacing because we know that it's Disney's fault and not the team's fault. But, like, I'm glad we still got all of those moments, like, even if they were fast. Because we got a lot of, like, really sweet moments on top of the horrible, sad ones. So, it's kind of a mix, and I'm glad that we got both sides of that coin, I guess. Both the cute, adorable, like, just living the life in the human realm moments, and then also the angsty ones at the end. So I'm glad we got a mix of both. I'm glad we got to see the characters at least somewhat happy, especially, like, man, Hunter just had it rough this episode. Because it's like, he can't be happy for 5 minutes. You can't just let him be happy for 5 minutes. But it is really sweet. It's, like, one of my favorite things is that he's really, like, is finally able to be himself and, like, not have to, I mean, he does kind of mention, like, oh, I wish he misses, knowing who he is and knowing who he's supposed to be, because I think that is scary, like, having to choose for yourself who you are. But, like, he ultimately, is at this place where, he gets to choose for himself, which is awesome. HC Animation, hi, how are you? I'm still a mess. Yeah, I am also a mess. I cannot believe, I can believe that they did it, that they did it, but I am a wreck, and like I think it was done well, and like as I was saying, yeah, like Hunter finally gets to choose who he is. It's so sweet, and like in a way it kind of makes sense that Flapjack is gone, because like he was able to complete his like arc, I guess, of like, I don't think his arc is over, by the way, but like him being able to start choosing for himself, and like he stood up to Bellows. That was like the big thing that I was super excited about. Like he stood up to Bellows. He was like, no, this is what I want, and not what you want. This is what I want. And so because of that, it's like it kind of makes sense that Flapjack is gone. But it is definitely super sad. Obviously, like I'm drawing, I don't know how to draw something to make it look like it's made of wood, but this is my attempt. I had just gotten back from a Halloween party, having a good time yesterday. Then I came home to cry while watching it on Disney XD at 1 a.m. My younger sister kept looking at me so concerned. Oh my goodness, that is so late. That is so late. Yeah, I also, like, I had plans last night. So my roommate had her birthday dinner, and then we watched, Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is like one of her favorite movies. So we watched that, and then it was late, and I was like, do I watch this super late? And then, you know, after you watch something like this, like, I don't know about you, but like I have like super, super hype. Like I have the adrenaline, and so I just cannot sleep. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just go to bed. I'll go to sleep. It's late. I'll just watch it in the morning. You know, and I kid you not, I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning being like, okay, well, I can't go back to sleep. I'm just going to watch it. So I watched it this morning. But wow. Yeah, I haven't stopped drawing all day because the adrenaline hype is real. But staying up that late to watch it is true dedication. I salute you. And so we'll see if I get any more sleep tonight, or if maybe I'll just sit here and draw with y'all for all night. I'll need to sleep at some point. But it truly, like, I had to like go on a walk earlier after watching it the first time, because I have watched it several times today, and just like breathe, because how overwhelming and crazy it all is. And it's like the crew, it's their favorite thing to do is just to hurt Hunter and to hurt us in association with that. But like, I respect the choice, I guess. It is a little bit concerning that, like, you know, is Hunter going to be able to use magic regularly? Is he going to get a new talisman? What's going to happen? Bellows possessing Hunter was creepy, terrifying, and heartbreaking all at the same time. Yes! It was truly all of those things. Like, part of me thought it was like really cool because like the Hunter Bellows is like pretty fun as a villain, and like is such a weird, like, it's just weird to see Hunter that way, especially now that like they spent this whole episode making him just an absolute dork. And then he's also super terrifying. Like, I have some reference images. This is what I drew earlier today. But he, my friends, is creepy and scary, and also just a good villain. And it's just sad to see your favorite character that way. It's just sad. But like, even going back to, I just loved his spiel at the end. That's like, you know what I'd like, Bellows? And then he, lists all the things, and he just like wants to be a normal child. And man, it's just like, I love every little detail they had time to add to this episode, because like, even one of my favorite scenes is him and Gus, Hunter and Gus, like in the basement, and like Hunter is sewing and they're just talking about life, right? And Gus asks Hunter, what was it like in the Emperor's Coven and all of that. And it's like, this poor kid wasn't even allowed to hang out with the other scouts. Like, that was like a thing that I feel like a lot of fans kind of like would write into fanfic or have as a headcanon anyway. Like, I know I did, but like, that was confirmed as like real. Like, it just like, it's so cool to have those sorts of conversations. And then like, poor Gus is missing his dad. But like, for Gus to be like, Hunter, you're smiling a lot more, you're happier. And like, that's just really sweet that Hunter finally has found a place to feel safe, like relatively at least. And like, he still wants to go back, but like, yeah, he's kind of the one of the group who's like, this is the first time he's really free. And so it's so cool to see throughout the episode him, and not truly free, because of course he then gets possessed, and also he just has trauma issues, but like, I just thought that was really sweet. Also, that scene when Luce called Hunter family and he started crying. Oh my goodness. Also my fave. And I've got a few reference photos out because like, I definitely want to draw them, because Hunter and Luce sibling moments are my favorite thing. And the fact that we got like a couple like really great moments with them, including this one, is it was Christmas, everybody. Like, this was such a good episode. And man, like, when he started tearing up and behind the mask, like, I legitimately was just like, that's it. I'm out for the count. This is too much. I can't take it. So it's all of those little moments, and it almost feels more Hunter-centric this episode than Luce. And like, obviously Luce is dealing with her thing of feeling like she can't share and that she's a failure, and that's also not good. But this almost felt like even more so about Hunter. I just can't with these two. They're the perfect siblings, and like, Luce being like, yeah, they're your family too, Hunter, and because his whole life he's like, his uncle is his only family, and he, even growing up believing that your family is all gone is because of wild magic, whatever, and then finding that the only family you had is lying to you. But now he has a whole new family, and it's so sweet. I am a sucker for found family stories, okay? Just like I know a lot of people are, but like, wow. It just truly fantastic, truly amazing, makes my heart happy. I cannot with those two. I definitely am actually glad that Bellows isn't dead at the end of this episode. Like, I really thought that this would be the final fight with Bellows, but I'm glad it's not, and here's why. Because like, if it was the final Bellows fight, then we would have the last two episodes would just be about the Collector, and which I'm sure will be interesting to see what the Collector's up to and all that. But we've had 2 seasons worth of like Bellows, and like, we know Bellows more, and he's been more of the overarching threat, and to throw him away too soon would not be very fun. So I guess I just have hope that like, he's still gonna be around until the very end, like, because it's his story. the Woodbane story that like is part of why I love this like story so much. And that's another thing, we didn't get as much of the Woodbanes as I thought we'd get this episode, which I'm fine with. Like, truly I am. Because to me, if you're going to do a full Woodbane flashback or whatever, that's like taking so much time away from the kids. And I feel like the kids are the more important. Like, I'd rather spend the few minutes we have left in this show with the characters we already know, rather than spending it all on a flashback of the Woodbane brothers. But like, I still like want my questions answered in regards to the Woodbanes. And so because Bellows isn't dead, I'm kind of hoping that we get some of those questions answered. Like, I know not all of them will be answered because like they don't have time. But like, I'm like, even I love that Caleb's wife's name is Evelyn, because it's like, oh my gosh, how did the fandom know that? There are so many people who have used the name Evelyn. Like, where did that even come from? I am flabbergasted. But I love that. But because I of course would love to see a full Woodbane flashback, full timeline. Like, I want that, but also I don't want them to take too much time, because I'd rather just see what's going on with the characters we already have. So we'll see where that goes, but I have more hope that more things will be answered because Bellows is still alive and is still a villain, and that's more fun to me anyway. I'm definitely, already, and we'll have so much time in the hiatus to like theorize over this, but I am really excited to see where they land after going through the portal and where they're at. And like, yeah, just how is everyone? Like, I have like, is the Boiling Isles in absolute like turmoil? Is it Armageddon? Or is it somewhat, has some sort of like structure? What is happening? I hope the Ida Luce reunion is like super overdramatic and angsty. And I'm excited. Hold the phone. I am so excited that Camilla is going with him into the demon realm. Like, thank you. Best Mom Award goes to Mrs. Nocetta. I truly can't with that lady. She's fantastic. I was surprised that they spent so much time with her this episode too. Like, that was awesome. That was surprising, unexpected, and very welcomed. Because especially her nightmare sequence, like, one of the things I was kind of like thinking about going into this episode was someone's going to have a nightmare, aka probably Hunter's going to have a nightmare or something. But no, the one nightmare in this episode is Mrs. Nocetta, and like, I appreciated that because like, then you're kind of, it answers a lot of questions about Luce, and makes us care even more about Mrs. Nocetta, because she's going to be an important part of the story going forward, at least like being a part of it, as in she's going to be with them in the demon realm. And it's another example of this show actually, the adults treating the kids like, kids, and the adults stepping up. I mean, I love her line that's like, I didn't think I'd be raising 6 children. I thought that was funny. And like, before she goes to bed, like, she's looking at, trying to figure out what these kids can eat, and like, she's doing so much for them, and she's everyone's mom, and I just love that so much. It just makes me so happy. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see her reactions to everything in the demon realm. That's gonna be truly fantastic. And that she's there for her daughter, you know? And all the kids. And it's going to be so sweet, like, when we get, like, reunion with all the parents. And Camila will be there to, like, meet them all. I think that'll be sweet, too. You know what? I hope Miss Indecetta finds friends in, like, all of the other adults. I think that'd be sweet. I love that all of the kids are learning Spanish. Oh my goodness, yes, that was so cute. It's like, yeah, it's all of those little things that were in this episode of just like how they've actually been, like, even though they've been sad and depressed and stuff, like, they're still, like, enjoying their time together and enjoying their time in the human realm. And I just think that's really sweet. Like, even though it's been hard, it's still been kind of a break. So yeah, them all trying to learn Spanish, and like V is on it. V is also fantastic. Oh my goodness, this episode. Because like V has the only brain cell. And that's absolutely fantastic, and I love it. And I love too that like V is totally full on adopted into this family. Like, I just think it's sweet. I love V. And, you know, I just can't. It's too great. So yeah, they're all learning Spanish. It was so sad and also great that they had Hootie on the door. This still confuses me. Hootie confuses them. Oh my goodness. What happened to Hootie? Because, like, part of me kind of doubts they're back, like, at the Owl House. I really don't think they would be. And so, is Hootie just still in the travel carrier thing? I don't know. And I know this was mentioned to be something that's going to happen. At least they mentioned it at the NYCC panel. But Hootie's backstory, that's something that I've wondered about a lot. And it's unfortunate we won't get like a full in-depth detail about it, but that's something I hope we get more answers to at some point. Even if it's just mentioned, but that's always been a question on my mind. What's up with Hootie? And I love, like, of all the other things the kids have done that are just, like, sweet and cute. And that's why it's, like, this episode's so great, because you have all these sweet and cute things, and then you have trauma. But I like the scrapbook that Willow has, that just in and of itself, that Willow has a scrapbook, and that she's taking pictures of everything is super sweet, and I absolutely adore that. But in her scrapbook, she has all these memories, and there's one with, like, Luce and Amity going on a date, and I was like, that's super sweet. And I love that Gus and Hunter are, like, Star Trek nerds, like, how adorable, and that Mrs. Nosetta is a Star Trek nerd too. I just love that, like, they're watching movies together, you know, movie nights and all of that. The one thing we didn't get, and I was really hoping to, was to see, like, them all eating flapjacks, eating pancakes, but that's okay. I'm just gonna assume that they did. Can't wait to see Camila and Ida. Yes! Luce's two moms together at last. That's gonna be fantastic. Like, I'm sure Ida will just absolutely adore her, and vice versa. It's gonna be so sweet. They're just gonna be the cutest, and they're, like, I can imagine them both yelling at Luce at the same time about something, you know, like, that's just really sweet. And I still want to see Camila, like, actually use that bat and, like, whack Bellos over the head. I wish we would have gotten an actual date episode of Lumity. I know, like, all of these little pieces in this episode that you're like, this is clearly supposed to be, like, a full-length episode, but they turned it into, like, a 60-second scene. But like an actual date with Lumity would be great, especially since, you know, they kind of, like, Luce has been making a big deal of like, I wish I could, you know, give you a real date and whatever. And they did. They get to go on a normal date, even though it's still kind of like they're dealing with a lot. But that's super sweet. And I don't know. We'll see if what there's time for. Part of me is kind of hoping that like the last episode has like a lot of time to just do wrap-ups, like epilogue style, and I hope that there's some Lumity in that. And I'm glad to, honestly, like, I'm just not a big fan of kind of Luce's whole thing this episode of like, and Hunter, I guess, of like keeping things secret, which I get, but also it didn't feel like it had, it's just hard when, you know, you see, I just think of Lumity, I think of Amity and Luce specifically, like they specifically haven't been keeping secrets between each other, and so for that to happen, I don't know, it was just obviously hard for Luce, but I guess I just didn't enjoy watching that as much. So moving on, it'll just be nice to have open communication between Amity and Luce, so that everything is good. When Flapjack killed Hunter and passed away, it breaks my heart when said, don't, I already know, made me so sad for Hunter. I know. And that's another thing, is like, I can imagine, like, if they had time for a scene of, like, him in his mind or whatever with Flapjack, like a last goodbye. I can picture it. Everything with Flapjack's death. Let's talk. Okay, yeah, okay. So, like, it's so good. It's definitely just, like, especially, okay, I don't even know where to start. I'm just, like, freaking out about it. But, like, oh, you love the drawing. Thank you. It's gonna be a comic of Hunter's last, like, line before he throws the Titan's blood, of like, this is what I want. I want, you know, to be a regular student at Hexside and play flyer derby with my friends, etc., etc. So that's what I'm working on here. But yeah, everything with Flapjack's death was horrible, but in a good way, because it was done really well. I always hate saying that, because it's like, yes, it was sad, but also it was well done, so I'm happy about it as a fan. Like, what scares me is that Hunter, like, going into the portal is just so broken. He's just so broken. He's just so done with this, like, and so we'll see how he is going forward. But, like, Flapjack has been such an important piece of his life. Like, Flapjack helped him find friends, find family, and, like, just find a better place to be, and, like, was his emotional support talisman. It's truly just really sad. I really liked how all of the lights, like, came out of Flapjack. I thought that was cool. And another moment that I feel like wish we had more time to, like, sit and enjoy. But alas, everything has to be sped up. It's also, like, the extra heartbreak of, like, I know that, like, it was Belos. Oh, yeah. And also the fact that it was Belos possessing Hunter in his body as if he killed him. Yeah, no, that was literally my next thought. Was because, like, it is. It's like Hunter killed him. Except, obviously, it's not, because it was Belos. But that kind of stuff is just rough, okay? for Hunter to be like, it was me. It was his hand. He did it. Like, even if he didn't have control over it. And that's just really depressing. Oh. And then seeing Flapjack, just even like having to see Flapjack all torn to shreds and like his like magic goop coming out, like that was really depressing. But like also that's the point where Hunter is able to like kind of break out of it and try to fight Bellows, because like he's not going to hurt Flapjack. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be hurting Flapjack. And so that kind of really pushes him out of the possession. It's also just like sad that Flapjack was so scared of Hunter, you know, when he was starting to get possessed and was huddling behind the tombstone. Little baby bird. So yeah, I don't know how Hunter's going to be now without his Flapjack. I'm interested, like, I hope he gets to carve his own palisman, and that I'm hoping it's just another cardinal. So he can have another bird. A bird of some sort, I suppose. I'm also interested, like, speaking of palisman, to see, like, I also really thought we would get Luce's palisman. I thought that Luce's palisman would hatch this episode. That did not happen. And I think it makes sense that didn't happen, because she's been all in turmoil about her life, and she was going to stay in the human realm. Like, that was going to be her big decision. So obviously, like, it's not going to hatch until she has some big, great, grand statement of what she wants or what she's going to do with her life or whatever, because that's what they do. But I'm excited to see that, and it makes sense that it wasn't this episode, but I am a little sad that it wasn't this episode. The fact that he cut his hair in the beginning to, like, have his own identity and not be a clone, only for his hair to grow back while being possessed. I know. Like, I was just getting excited about his hair, and then it changes again. And so I wonder if he'll have Willow cut it again or not. But yeah, like I love, like, this is why, like, it feels like a Hunter-centric episode and less of a Luce-centered episode, because he has this whole art, like, he even has this whole scene talking to Flapjack when he's in the shack. Like, he's like, you know, you're right, like, I am happy with where I'm at now and who I am now. And he's like, finally, like, he's A, happy, and he's B, just like happy with who he is, and it doesn't have to be what other people are telling him to be, and like all of these moments. And like we said, like, then Luce is excited to, like, be like, yeah, you're part of my family too, and all of that. Hunter just goes through a lot this episode, and it's all fantastic. It's just amazing. It felt like Luce and Hunter were the main characters of the episode. For sure. Absolutely. This was, like, no one else got that much screen time. And besides, like, I feel like Mrs. Nacetta got the most out of the side characters, which was fantastic. But yeah, like, that's why I kind of hope that we get some more of, like, Amity specifically, or Gus. Like, I thought it was sweet that, like, Gus clearly kind of knew about the Grimwalker thing, which was kind of, you know, definitely I was thinking about that, and I think a lot of people were about, does Gus know now? And I'm glad that he does. And that's another example of this episode doing a lot with such little time, because they were able to basically imply that Gus knew about the Grimwalker thing without having to, like, spend a whole bunch of time explaining that, just by him talking about the book. And I thought that was sweet. I also thought it was sweet that Gus was, like, just trying to make Hunter comfortable with it and not forcing him to talk about it. I think that's sweet. Also, the animation during the fight scene was so good. Ah, yes. Like, as soon, like, you can tell the moment it changes. Like, when Hunter Bellows, possessed Hunter, like, is just talking, and, like, right before the fight starts, you know, oh yeah, the animation just changed. This is going to be great. And one of my favorite parts is when, like, Hunter lashes out for Gus, but then Willow grabs that arm and, like, slaps it down to the ground. Like, that part was so cool. And Willow is so strong and amazing and awesome, and I'm a big fan. Big fan. And even V got a moment to shine in the fight, like, trying to, like, suck the magic out of Hunter, which was so smart. I wouldn't have thought about that at all. But I also like that V isn't necessarily a fighter, and she's just in the back, like, help. So yeah, the fight scene was great. Interesting to see how, like, Amity's abomination goop was, like, mud, which was cool. Yes, I was just about to say that I love V. She's adorable. Ah, she's so cute. Like, having only been in, like, 2 episodes, I absolutely love her. I would have loved to have more time to just get to know V a little bit. V is fantastic. And I'm glad that she, too, you know, similarly with Hunter, like, well, A, escaping a really bad situation and having a found family, but also B, like, finding a way to be herself, especially as a shapeshifter, and she doesn't, you know, have to be anybody but herself, and she gets to decide that, and I think that's great. Just joined the stream. Hello, Pixley Sandwich. Welcome. Talking about Owl House, drawing Owl House. So hopefully you've seen the new episode, because it's great and sad. So yeah, I really love V. I love that all of the fan art that I see for V. I haven't drawn much V fan art, and so I need to get on that for sure. She does have the only brain cell of the group. Absolutely the only brain cell. And it kind of makes me want to see more of her and what she does in the human realm. But, of course, it makes sense that she stays in the human realm and she doesn't go back to the demon realm. I mean, I wouldn't if I were her. She literally has nothing to go back to, and she, like, finally has her own life now. Sad about Flapjack, R.I.P. R.I.P. Flapjack. Flapjack, our favorite emotional support palisman. I don't know how Hunter's gonna cope. This is, like, pretty intense. I mean, I know Hunter's been through a lot already, and he can get through a lot, but I mean, at least he has friends now, and they're gonna help him get through it. I'm excited to see, you know, Gus and Willow help him deal with it, because it's a lot. This poor boy has been through so much. And that's what hurts even more, is you see him throughout the episode be so happy, and then they absolutely destroy that happiness. I wanted to enjoy it as a fan Halloween episode, but there was so much going on in the story and with Hunter that I couldn't. A fun Halloween episode. Yeah, like, it almost could be a fun Halloween episode. Like, there are definitely lots of fun, silly moments, but dark, man. Super dark. Y'all, it's just a lot. Because, like, even the fact of, like, seeing what they all dress up as is, like, a fun little silly Halloween thing. But then it's like, and now the Wittebane story, and you're like, oh right, we've got some crazy stuff going on. Okay, question for y'all. What are Hunter's colors for Hexside's uniform? I could just put him in gold. Is he doing potions? Is he doing something else? That's my question. I've seen some good stuff about like why he would be good in the Bard Coven. I don't think he has much musical talent, but like he could learn. I don't see him doing. I mean, the problem is I don't see him doing anything that the other main characters are doing, aka illusion or plants or abomination, because that's kind of their thing. Yellow. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I should just leave him as yellow because that's his color. But if he was doing multi-track, I feel like he'd want to learn a little bit of everything and then kind of go from there. But I like the idea of him learning how to carve talisman. Like, I think that was just an interesting line that they even took the time to add that in. Especially, I mean, I am of the theory that Evelyn is a Clawthorn, and so all of the talisman carving stuff. And so I think that would be sweet. Potions or all the tracks? Yeah, because he wants to study wild magic. I would agree that he could be one that has to try all of them like Luce. And he would do a great job at it too, because he's such a nerd. Like he could deal with a lot of classes. He's the Hermione Granger, right? Like just give him a time thing. And he'll go to all the classes. I wonder if he'd be good at oracle magic. Like, if he could do magic, like, more easily, of course. But, like, he is, like, a dead person, kind of. So, like, can he commune with the spirits? Maybe? It's a thought. It's a thought. Thinking about, like, I keep thinking about the Boiling Isles, of course, and, like, where they're going to end up, and what's going to, like, where things are at with the Boiling Isles right now. And I feel like they've got to have some sort of base, you know, the cats and everyone, where they're all hanging out if things are really still really, really bad. And I just like the idea of having a nice reunion, like, moment where all of the kids, like, find their family at the same time, basically. Because what I like to imagine is that, like, everyone runs to their parents or whatever, and then, like, Hunter's all left by himself. But then Darius walks up and's like, little prince, haha, and says something cute and adorable, and I do want Darius to adopt Hunter. It'd be great. What do you think will happen to Belos since he entered the demon realm again? I think he is in extra trouble, and here's why. Because, like, A, everyone on the Boiling Isles is going to hate him because he just tried to kill them all. B, like, Luce and all of her friends and the cats and everyone, same deal. They're after him. And C, now he also has the Collector on his bad side. Like, he lied to the Collector, too. So, literally everyone in this world wants him, like, either dead or, like, I don't know, you know. Everyone has beef with Bellows. So, I mean, he's been around the block, so I'm sure he will be able to stay hidden and be sneaky as he is. But I think he could meet a pretty bad fate. I wonder too if it's going to end up being like the Collector deals with him rather than any of the main characters. You know, so they don't want main characters' hands to be dirtied. I also considered, like, now that we know that he's in the demon realm again, which I love that he hasn't left the story yet. Would he go back to his, like, weird little cave out wherever he was before when he was Philip? Like, is he gonna try to make another Grimwalker? And also, like, how is he? I mean, it took him years and years and years to get the Day of Unity plan up and going. Like, what else is he going to try to do to, like, get everybody? I wonder if the Collector is actually going to be a good guy instead of a villain. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? I don't know why I haven't even considered that. Like, the Collector turning good. Because mostly just the Collector is so scary that I'm like, oh. But yeah, I think I could see that. I could see that happening. Absolutely. I think that'd be kind of fun. Especially if it's like, you know, King who actually becomes friends with the Collector. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm interested to see what the actual history is, though, between the Collector and, like, King and King's dad. Whatever is going on there. That'll be super interesting. And I feel like, as well, that is kind of Luce's jam. Like, she's very much a Steven Universe character. And she'll just make friends with everybody. So maybe she'll just make friends with the Collector, too. But I feel like the Collector is more like... That's the other thing, is... Bellows is Luce's villain. The Collector is King's villain. So... I feel like whatever is going to happen with the Collector, it's going... Like, King will be the crux of whatever happens. Like, it's going to be King who ultimately is the one saving the day, I guess. Or has the final say, maybe. Or even better, it's Luce and King together, save the day together. I just need them to be reunited and happy and siblings again. And I have a feeling, though, that for sure King is not, like, part of whatever this plan is going to be about getting King back or whatever, because, like, I'm interested to see what's up with Ida, because, like, she has lost her kids, and I'm sure she's just having the worst time. Oh, dear. Do you think when King becomes a big Titan, he will fight the Collector? I don't know if he's going to become a big Titan in this series at all. I guess I just don't want him to, because I like him when he's cute and tiny. But that's just me wanting that. But yeah, I could see it being like a big giant fight. But I think he can hold his own with the power that he has, even if he's small. Like, or maybe he discovers other powers. Maybe, you know, like, maybe King has some other secret hidden power that comes to light, and then that's how he defeats the Collector. That's a thought. But I think maybe it's just because I want King to be small and cute, but I don't want him to become big. guess then he wouldn't be able to, like, stay in the owl house and just be part of the family. He wouldn't be cuddleable, and he wouldn't snuggle. And I want him and Luce to be buddies. But that's, generally a thing I hadn't thought about before. I'm excited to see the Blights as well. What Alador and the twins have been up to. Don't care about Adalia, as no one does. Maybe she's been humbled a bit since she was trying to help. Or maybe not. You know what? Scratch that. She's probably, like, I mean, she even said she knew what was happening, kind of, and still was, like, doing business anyway. But Bella still betrayed her, too. Betrayed everyone who thought they were going to get some sort of reward. I do like Tiny King. Would prefer if he doesn't become big, but if he does, him fighting the Collector is a scenario. No, totally, absolutely. And a scenario I hadn't really thought about before. Because I imagine the Collector would have the power, like, it could just be like this, the power to become a giant too, and then they would just be like, big giant fight. But then also, I don't know how the rest of the gang would fit into that. What if King can transform from big to small, back and forth? Ooh, I like that idea. Because then he can go and fight the Collector or whoever, and still come back to small size. Small and cute and fun. That could be one of the powers that comes up. Because I feel like he could have some new powers. So maybe he's able to become big and become small. Maybe he's able, if he becomes big, he could travel to the other, like, islands and stuff. Because I don't know if we have time to, like, in the show to get to that kind of thing. But I am, very curious about the other places that aren't the Boiling Isles in the Demon Realm. So I'd love to see, some other places, and maybe that's part of what King does. Because I feel like, and I'm thinking, like, after everything is over, I feel like something King would do is go search for other Titans again. See if he has any other family, I guess. I feel that's, like, a thing that, being the possible last of his species, he might do. I'm just interested to know, like, what the Collector's deal is. I wonder what happened with Hootie, and I wonder if we will find out the origin of Hootie. Yes, I was mentioning this earlier. Like, that's a question I've had for a long time, is what even is Hootie? Like, yeah, he's a house demon. How does a house demon come to be? Like, is it a regular demon that then, like, just attaches to a house? Was he already attached to this house when Ida got there? Was he somehow created by or made a deal with Ida? Like, what's going on with this? So definitely I have a lot of that question too. And apparently it'll be mentioned at least in passing in an episode, but I'm excited for that as well, just to hear what that's all about. Because that's been a constant question for me. And, like, do house demons switch houses? Like, I don't know. How did Ida even, like, decide to stay there? Like, what? Hootie origin story, yes. We got a Woodbane Bros backstory, so it's possible we'll get a Hootie one. I hope they have time. I do. I hope they have time to really delve into it. Because Hootie is such an important character, like, and has been around through it all, thick and thin. And I know a lot of people, like, are either they love Hootie or they hate him, you know? But I love Hootie. I think he's hilarious. I love how weird he is. Like, all of whatever weird thing he's doing, it always makes me laugh. So I would love to hear what's up with him. And especially because, like, everyone is always like, ooh, gross. Even Ida, right? And I'm like, then Ida, why did you choose this weird house demon? Or did you choose him, you know? Like, what happened there? Yeah, I heard it's going to be hinted at. Yeah, that's what they said at the New York Comic-Con panel, that it's at least going to be mentioned. So that'll be good. So we'll at least get to hear a little bit of what's going on. At least enough for all of us to, like, write fanfic about. And then, like, fill in the gaps as you go. And that's another thing that, like, it is a bummer that everything is shortened, but, like, there's going to be so many good fanfics out there, I'm sure, of, like, filling in the gaps for all the things we missed. I'm hoping, at least. Or I just will have to make them myself. Because even, like, if we don't get more Wittebane backstory, I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the Wittebanes. Oh, dear. And I know we, like, got a lot of questions answered with this episode. And the problem, too, is that I keep thinking, oh, Philip should share his side of the story. But, like, he kind of already has in a way. And also, if he shared his side of the story, it wouldn't be, like, a reliable narrator anyway, because he would probably lie about it. Just want to say that the voice acting in Thanks to Them was amazing. It was so good, especially Zeno Robinson absolutely killing it, okay? I cannot. Absolutely fantastic. Gut-wrenching, horrible, sad, wonderful. I'm here for all of it. Just too raw. So good. And I'm also just, like, to the point of, like, am I gonna be able to focus this week on anything other than this show? All the emotional scenes, yeah, especially all of the emotional scenes. And even like, you know, I forget his name, the guy who plays Bellows. So good. It was so good that we had the, like, Bellows Hunter overlay, like, on top of each other. It worked well. Like, sometimes I would think that would be overdone or too much, and it would just be, like, kind of annoying, or it wouldn't work, or it just wouldn't sound good, you know? But, like, this worked. And it was also, like, it was creepy. And very well done. I can be the Hecate to your Azora. Yes, that was so sweet. It was so fun to see what everyone dressed up for Halloween. And of course, gotta have Azura and Hecate. That was super sweet. Like, Amity was just super sweet this episode. Amity was adorable. And, like, Amity in the library, absolutely dead. Like, talking to the card catalog and then falling on her face. Yes. That was cool, along with character design. Yeah. Like, I freaking love this. Like, I'm obsessed. This is the one I drew earlier. It looks so good. It's so good. Where's this other? Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this boy. How'd you? They made him look cool. You're supposed to be a nerd. Anyway. It does make me mad that it's like, oh, he looks so much cooler when he's evil. Dang it. I love Amity. She's always always looked like a baddie, and I'm all here for it. Oh yeah, oh for sure. Too good. I love that Amity is also supposed to just be like the jock or whatever. And so it's like she kind of is like the duality of being a top student and also not being street smart, which is so good. It's just so great. Yeah. Amity's whole everything this episode was fantastic. Loved it. Not sure what I'm doing with these backgrounds, but there we go. There's more there. And then I needed to color this one. And do I still have a reference on that? I think I got rid of it. Where am I at? This is going to be all gold. Hunter, is it just me, or does Hunter, when Bellows controls Hunter, he sounds like Bill from Gravity Falls? A little bit. Yeah, because Bill's voice is super hyper, like, auto-tuned and, like, not auto-tuned, but, like, they've messed with it. And because having Hunter and Bellows together, it just, like, it sounds like the extra creepy, echoey weirdness, but it wasn't hard to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so interesting to me, is that, like, it matched perfectly. And I want to know who recorded their lines first. Like, I feel like it would be, like, they had Bellows' voice actor record first because it's Bellows speaking, and then, like, Zeno Robinson just, like, having to copy that exact phrasing. It's just so well done. And whoever, like, sound directed and worked on making it sound good was, yeah, great job. I love her design and outfits. I love everyone's outfits, especially this episode, because everyone had, like, 5 outfits. And they all had, like, all of their, you know, their human clothes. And Hunter just, like, wanting to go out in his Star Trek outfit. Like, yes, fantastic. But yeah, especially I loved Amity's overalls. I loved her hair. I just love her hair. Always changing her hair is nice. And, like, Willow wears a cute little dress. Gus knows what's up with the human realm clothing, that's for sure. He was looking fantastic. I was practically screaming the whole episode, and my uncle was trying to sleep. Oh no. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but I watched it at like 4 a.m. this morning, and so I had to be completely quiet because I would wake my roommate up. But I was, like, internally dying. Just absolutely dying. So I feel that pain. I was right there with you. It was rough. I thought it was kind of messed up when Bellows was using Hunter's voice. Terrifying. 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 That's all there is to say. Because it's just like, my boy, no, this can't be happening to you. Hunter, give the animators a good rise. Yes, yes. And I hope there's a spin-off of some kind. I don't know if we're going to get a spin-off. If we got a spin-off, here's the thing. I would love to see a spin-off or a comic of just the Whittabanes. Like, I just want the Whittabanes, but I just love Whittabane content. And then also, though, I'd love a spin-off that was just Ida and Rain. Like, give me more of their story. That would be fantastic. Another spinoff, I just want to know what V is up to in the human world constantly. That would be fantastic. But again, at least with Wittebane stuff, there's enough fan artists out there who are like drawing comics or whatever and doing their own take on the Wittebane stuff, which I follow like it's my job. Am I only one who watched the episode like 10 times? No, you're not. I mean, I haven't watched it 10 times, but I watched it several times today. And the last 8 minutes, though, like, I went back and, like, throughout the day today, I just, like, kept rewatching, like, the last scene over and over and over again. Because I, like, could not handle the fact that, like, this was all happening and that Blackjack was actually gone. And Hunter had to go through even more horrific trauma. Like, so I just kept rewatching that last 8 minutes. I couldn't handle it. Aw, shoot, Camila still has the car keys. That's such a great line. And, like, it makes sense that none of the kids were driving, but, like, I was kind of hoping that, like, they'd be in the human realm long enough that, like, Hunter would be able to drive or something. Because he would be an excellent driver. He would be so, like, just careful about everything. And he would absolutely pass his driving test with flying colors. But V has been there long enough. I'm sure she's learned how to drive. Why was the season cut short? Yeah, there's so much more to tell. Yeah, I know. They could have gone on so much longer. And everything that happens in this episode, and thanks to them, is like, just, you can feel like it needed to be longer. But they did great with the time they had available. Absolutely. And can't complain. They did what they could. And they're gonna, like, if every episode is gonna be as great as this, like, season 3 is gonna be pretty great, actually. Hunter already has enough trauma. Give him a break. Seriously? I know. And, like, especially since Bellos is still out there, I'm like, oh dear, you're not done dealing with horrible stuff, are you? My poor boy. Nope, you're still gonna have to deal with crazy. And that's just so sad. At least he, like, was able to stand up for himself this episode. I appreciate that a lot. Hope Hunter is more careful when sewing. He hurt his bad but sad boy hand. Poor Hunter. Yeah, that was also, I just love that scene, that whole scene. But Hunter bragging like, I've been in the Emperor's Coven long enough that I can handle a little pain. And then, like, absolutely just cuts himself open. Oh dear. I think that, and that's another thing, it's just like all of these things that, like, felt like such fun little fan headcanons and whatever is actually canon. The fact that he, like, did learn how to use a sewing machine and, like, is learning to be a better seamstress, and, like, that was continued. Like, him holding up that little wolf shirt. I think I have the thing. Maybe I didn't take a picture of it. Oh, yeah. Look at those eyes. Poor baby. He just likes wolves. It's just so sweet. He can make his own clothes. And it's just, my boy. Sweet, innocent boy. Darius will be so proud of you. Like, he got a break for 5 minutes. Seriously. He got a 5-minute break when he was finally confident in himself and liked himself and was happy and just doing silly fun things. And then there was something on Tumblr that I saw that was like, oh, Hunter is happy for 5 minutes. The world adjusts accordingly. And, like, The world around him just adjusts like, oh, he's happy? Guess we gotta change that. He's not allowed to be happy. And he's not. And there's still more to go, so like there's more trauma to be had. It's coming. It's coming for them all. What scares me, now that I'm thinking about this, because I was considering there being like a character death at some point this season, but the fact that we had a character death so early, like this first episode, like, are more people gonna die? It makes me nervous for that, because I feel like it could be a possibility. Beasts called werewolves, and I love them. Yes. These are mythical beasts, and I love them. It's just so sweet. Hunter is such a cute little baby. I love them. I love that line. Yeah. Hunter, oh my gosh, yeah. Just Hunter this episode. The best, the absolute best. The bestest sad but bad boy. Bad but sad. He's a sweetie, and I love him. And I want him to be happy, ultimately, but also as an audience member, I do appreciate the angst and the trauma. He needs a break. And he's not going to get one, probably. That's the unfortunate piece. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm just concerned for everybody's well-being. I think Hunter is the definition of trauma in cartoons. Yes. Like, I truly, like, listen, we've watched a lot of shows, everyone has, of, like, horrible things happening to poor baby children. I have a hard time thinking of anyone who can beat Hunter. Well, maybe some anime characters, but Hunter's had it absolutely terrible. And they keep finding ways to torture him more. I have a question. If you had magic, or could learn magic, and you were in the demon realm, what coven would I be in? That is a good question. Oh man, that's such a hard question. Honestly, I haven't thought about it that much before. Also, let me know what all y'all's coven would be. Personally, I feel like I am very intrigued by Oracle magic, but I don't think I would be in that coven. Honestly, I'd probably say Bard coven. Yeah, probably. I think that's what I would enjoy the most, at least. I play the viola, and I love watching Rain be able to do fun things with his instruments as well. And it also intrigues me to think about how, like, Rain was able to do magic just by whistling and stuff. And so, like, there must be bard singers and stuff too. And I think that would be interesting to think about. But yeah, I'll say bard. I'll say the bard coven. I don't think I'd be very good with plants. Potions sounds boring to me. That's always sounded boring to me, like when you read Harry Potter or whatever. I'm just like, no, not potions. So I'll go with bard. Pixley Sandwich, Bard Coven. In the Bard Coven together, hanging out, making things happen. I feel like Bard is also, like, super different than the others. And, maybe Oracle magic is similar too, because Oracle uses a lot of other tools, I suppose. But, like, Bard Coven, you're using, like, other equipment. You're using instruments instead of just drawing a spell circle. I find that interesting. Also, I think that in some ways, Bard magic might just be kind of OP in this universe, at least from what we've seen of Rain, and obviously not everyone would be in that league. I do not have a reference for this throne room. I'm eyeballing this. If my saxophone was magic, I would be the jazziest person in the bard coven. Heck yes. Yeah. The one music theory class I took, though, might make me change my mind because it's a bit rough. I remember being grateful I only had to take one music theory class. Anyone who's a music major deserves cupcakes because that's a major. A very challenging one. It's like learning another language. So, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be in the Bard Coven. I would be in the Emperor's Coven so I could kill Bellows and make sure Hunter has no more trauma. But I know they will find another way to make Hunter have more trauma. Yes, you're correct. They will always find a way to give Hunter more trauma. It's their favorite thing to do, apparently, is just give this boy more trauma. So frustrating. But also, I love it. I'm not lying. Bring on the trauma. I just give him... It's just that they don't give him a breather. Like, at least he had a few fun moments in this episode, but... Man. Give him a break, please. But yeah. It really makes me think that since Bellows made it back to the Demon Realm, he's going to be a problem right up to the very end. And maybe this is what, like, bringing it back to, like, the Collector being good or turning good. Maybe the Collector is able to defeat, provide information or whatever. We don't know anything about, like, the Collector's power either, which is, like, I need more info on that. They killed Flapjack. They just like to torture everyone. They like to torture everybody. And so they kill off our favorite characters. The only shining light in Hunter's life was this bird. And they go and kill him. They just want to hurt him. No matter what, he will always be a bad but painfully sad boy. I do hope that he at least, like, they give him a happy ending and, like, a hopeful ending that isn't sad. I need him to be happy at the end. I just fear for what has to happen in between now and then. And if he's going to make it through. I don't know. It's concerning. What do you think the Demon Realm looks like now? I have a lot of ideas. Like, I feel like it could definitely go in the direction of, like, this is post-apocalyptic and crazy, which is kind of what it feels like. Like, that's what everyone's worried about, at least, like, in show. But I don't know if they would... Like, I can also just see them going the route of, like, there's some sort of structure. Like, somehow, I mean, not only is the Collector there, but they also have a vacuum of power. Like, they don't have Bellows either. So, someone is in charge. And I really hope that it's, like, Darius and Rain, taking care of things or whatever. But, like, I could see there being chaos, honestly, not just because of the Collector, but just because of the lack of leadership in a society that has been trained to need leadership, I guess. And so I can definitely see it being a little post-apocalyptic. But I feel like there's going to be at least enough structure that, like, it's not that loose and everyone gets back to the Demon Realm and then they immediately, like, can't do anything. Like, I feel like they're going to be able to run into people pretty quick. But But who knows? Maybe everyone is missing. They can't find anybody. I don't know. The moment Flapjack died, my heart stopped. Same. I was like, no, you can't do this to me. The Collector is a god, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, it has the powers of one. And that's the other thing. Like, we don't really know the extent of the Collector's powers. So it's just there are so many unknowns that I don't even know where to go. And so I feel like no matter what I say with what I think might happen, or what is happening in the Boiling Isles, like, I don't know. It could be a lot of things. And I feel like making it like post-apocalyptic, I think is kind of, I think would make sense for sure. But it can't be that they have it all figured out, because like obviously then there would be like, well, what's the point of the next 2 episodes, I guess. So the Collector is still wreaking havoc in some way. I guess it's just a matter of the question of how much havoc is being wreaked. Who would win in a fight, the Collector or Bill Cipher? They both have the emotional capacity and patience of a toddler. So it would be a pretty even fight. Bill Cipher is so chaotic, but so is the Collector. They're so similar. I think what makes them different is that Bill Cipher still is like making plans. Bill Cipher like makes plans and thinks things through, and the Collector seems even more spontaneous. So I feel like Bill Cipher would be able to win over the Collector because Bill would be able to like use some manipulation, and like the Collector's been manipulated before by Bellows, so I feel like the Collector would be definitely be sensitive to that, I guess, and I think Bill could win. Do I think they have equal like power though? No, because I think the Collector has more power than Bill. Like Bill could be restrained in some ways, but at least at this point, I feel like the Collector has more power. So either it could go either way. It could go either way. You think the Collector would win? He can move the moon. Touche. I think it comes down to whether or not Bill would be able to manipulate the Collector enough, or like, I mean, even the kids were able to kind of manipulate the Collector, right, into wanting to play the Owl House game or whatever, and free everybody, etc. So I feel like the Collector would be susceptible to Bill in that way, but I feel like if it came down to it, like just based off of their power, the Collector could win. And you think Bill, maybe Bill. The Collector is a kid, and kids are sometimes unpredictable. True. Absolutely. Because the Collector could just pull something out of the back of their pocket, or just suddenly decide, actually, I'm done with this game, you know? And absolutely beat Bill into a pulp. We know Bill's weakness. We don't know the Collector's yet. Exactly. That's exactly it. So right now, the Collector seems like a bigger threat because we haven't seen the Collector defeated yet. And so in my brain, I'm like, yeah, there's no possible way, but obviously Luce and the gang will find a way. They will find a way. Through the power of friendship and determination, they will find a way. But very excited to see what the Boiling Isles is like. I'm just ready for some angsty, sad reunions. I just want to see everyone find their parents again and be happy. I don't know why I just made that all his natural skin tone. His arms are all green in this scene. If they don't have reunions, you will die. Yeah, same. And Caleb didn't deserve any of this. Also same. Yeah, if they don't have like good angsty reunion, I mean they have to. They've built it up too much. Of like they're all missing their families, and Gus was like, I miss my dad, and everyone, oh my goodness, everyone drawing pictures of their family and putting it on the bulletin board made me so sad. And it's in a good way. Like, it was very, very good. So I appreciate that. So they've got to have some sort of reunion. Will it happen right away, though, or will it happen later? You know, that's the question. And I feel like it could be either. Caleb didn't deserve anything that happened to him. And to comment on that, like, this is why I want to know more about the Wittabanes. Like, I just want to see what the dynamic was like, I guess, between Philip and Caleb, because we really only have kind of the snippets and what Bellows told us, which, again, Bellows is an unreliable narrator, and so, like, his version of events, even in his mindscape, I feel like his version of events might be skewed. So that's why I want a more concrete example. Also, that's why I was hoping for a flashback episode, because, like, I just want to see Caleb, and I want to see what Caleb is actually like, and just how this would all happen. So hopefully we get some answers. Won't hold out hope, but I'd love to see more Caleb, more actual Caleb, please. I love when Amity drew her picture and she didn't have her mom. Yeah, same. Odalia can just go away. I don't need to deal with Odalia ever again. What's your favorite ship? Oh, that's actually really hard. My first reaction was Lumity, because duh. But then I was like, Ida and Rain, though. I think I like Ida and Rain better. Because they have more angst. Because, like, Luce and Amity are sweet and cute and wholesome. But then Ida and Rain are, like, the history, the tension. I love it so much. And I just love the dynamic. Like, I just love their dynamic so much. But I will say, yes, I am a Huntlow shipper. Deeply, to my core. Because they are both precious little cinnamon rolls, and I want them to be happy together. So that's my answer. My answer is Ida and Rain. But I also love Lumity. And I was also hoping to see some more, like, actual Huntlow confirmation in this episode, and that didn't happen. Makes me sad. I kind of feel like by the end of the show, the two worlds are going to become one. That's what happens in every cartoon. And, like, I don't think it's a bad choice. Not every cartoon, you know. But, like, in Star Versus that happened, and I guess I wasn't satisfied with the Star Versus worlds colliding. The reason why I don't think it's going to happen in this one is because, like, in Star Versus, they were going back between realms often, and so they really were firmly developing their lives in either realm. And so it makes at least a little more sense. In this show, we've spent most of our time in the demon realm. And also, like, ultimately, what's going to happen is that Luce is going to be able to travel back and forth freely because King exists. And King can give blood to, like, create an easy way to go back and forth. You know what I mean? So that's my those are my thoughts. I feel like the human world in this show is not ready for the demon realm. I don't know why I'm so averse to that, but I think I am a little bit. Of course, if it happens, I'm sure it'll work out. The drama in Owl House is too much. The drama. It's the drama house. I need to stay off Etsy. I just bought a bunch of Owl House merch. Yes! I'm a bad influence. Don't ask me. Buy the merch. That's my opinion. I think Luce and Hunter are officially brother and sister. They are, and they're adorable and perfect. I honestly, like, not a romantic ship, but like Hunter and Luce sibling dynamic might be my favorite, like, relationship in the whole show. Is just Luce and Hunter, siblings forever, going through trauma together. Like, even in this episode, like, they are the only ones that know each other's secrets. Like, they are the people that they go to, and like, they are the ones who they've been through crap together. Like, and it's so sweet, and Luce is just like ready to accept him, and Hunter is ready to just like defend Luce forever. It's so fantastic. I love them so much. Like, same. Got a Flapjack plushie. After this episode, I need to get a Flapjack plushie. I need something to calm my soul. You're gonna watch Owl House again. See ya. Okay, bye. Good luck. Good luck handling the trauma. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Have a lovely evening or morning or whatever time it is for you. But enjoy some more Owl House. I'm excited to rewatch it again. And again and again. For the next several months until we get the next episode. Just constant rewatching of this episode. That's what this is going to become. I want to see a spinoff about Luce, well, technically V, at her time at camp. I would like that too. I'd like to see how V handled, you know, when it was still a secret, like she was still trying to keep up appearances as Luce. And how did that work out? Like, obviously it worked out well, like she was able to do it. But like, I can imagine there being lots of very funny little shenanigans with V trying to, you know, pretend to be a human and not knowing anything about the human realm. Like, that sounds hilarious. And very sweet. And just like, yeah, she's finding a place to be. And I think that'd be really sweet to see in more detail. They were in Bellis's mind together, Hunter and Luce. That's what, you know, has glued them together. It's their shared trauma. And I'm still a little bitter that they made Hunter run away after the end of that episode. I know Luce was going through a lot too. But she should have ran after him. Like, I feel like that's a little bit of a betrayal of her character. Like, I know that it led to Labyrinth Runners, which is one of my favorite episodes, actually. But it still makes me sad that Hunter had to deal with so much alone when Luce was right there. But that kind of shared trauma, it'll do something to you. I was really hoping to finish this comic today. I've literally been working on it all day. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I'm getting there. But the problem is, even if I finish coloring everything, and I probably am not going to shade it or whatever, it doesn't need that much detail. But I still got to add the dialogue boxes. This is what happens, though. I always have lots of ideas of things I want to do, or things I want to draw, and then they just take so much time. And I can't do I can't finish all of my ideas. Your favorite episode is the prom one. I really like Grom too. It's really sweet and cute. And the animation of their fight against Grom is really cool. Yeah, Labyrinth Runners is way up there in my favorites. I love Gus. I love Gus and Hunter being friends. Animators were going crazy after King's Tide, but there's not really that much besides Flapjack's death that they would really animate. Yeah. Oh, Flapjack. It's kind of like, I feel like it maybe hasn't even settled in yet. That Flapjack is really gone. Like, it's just been, Flapjack's been so important to Hunter. It's hard to imagine Hunter without Flapjack. It's just gonna feel extra weird the next episode, not having Flapjack around. But also, like, is Hunter gonna borrow someone's talisman? Or does he now have magic because Flapjack is inside of him? I don't know. R.I.P. Flapjack. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Truly, truly. I mean, I think that, like, at least going by how, like, the talisman were in Bellis's mind, I feel like Flapjack really is still part of Hunter in a way. Like, Hunter still has Flapjack there with him. It seems that way, at least. That's what I'm gonna go with to make me happier. Yeah, same. You think he's alive. He's kind of a part of Hunter now. Yeah, exactly. That's how it feels. And I want that to be true even if it's not. But, like, what triggers me to, not triggers me, like, what makes me think that is that, A, Bellos had all of the talisman in his mind and he was trying to quiet them. And so that's a clue to, like, oh, Flapjack could be alive in his head. But then also, like, in the episode, in Thanks to Them, he says, like, oh, like, don't, I already know, you know, like, I already know that Flapjack is gone. As in, I feel like if this episode was longer and they had more time, it would be one of those things that, like, in his brain, like, you'd have a moment with Flapjack of, like, saying goodbye, like, a final goodbye. And so it makes me think that, and because he's talking to Flapjack, you know, like, it's time to go home, Flap, like, it makes me feel that in some way Hunter kind of gets to communicate with the, you know, the last remnants of Flapjack. I was just thinking that Flapjack could technically still be alive. I feel like, I don't think he's going to come back as alive like that. Although that would be interesting. But, yeah, I think Flapjack is still kind of there in a way. Like, Flapjack gave up his life for him. I'm also, like, I don't think this is the case, but it makes me concerned, like, Hunter doesn't need to keep eating. I mean, not that he, you know, like, consumed Flapjack like Bellos does, but he's not going to need more talisman, is he? I'm hoping that's not the case, and that this is a permanent affair. But also, there's the insinuation that, did Hunter really just die in front of us? Did Hunter actually drown? And did Flapjack bring him back to life? I don't know. I want Ida or Ida's dad to teach Hunter how to carve palisman so he can carve his new palisman. And I need Luce's palisman to join the adventure. I hope that doesn't happen at the very, very last moment. Like, I need some time with, especially since we lost Flapjack, we need a new palisman to be obsessed with. And so we need Luce's palisman to hatch now. I always wondered what all the scars on Hunter is. The scars that he got at the end of this episode or the scars that he had before. Because from before, they're either from his abuse or just the maltreatment of everyone at the Embers Coven. But, like, these scars are from all the goopy goop. So, the boy's got more scars. As if he didn't have enough already. Just give him more. I mean, this kid has gone through so many different character designs. What are they going to do now? And that's the other thing is everyone's going to get new outfits for the next episode too. Unless they're hanging around in their Halloween costumes for the rest of the series. If there is one more death in the show besides the villains, I will be very upset. Listen, I will be too, but like, I wouldn't put it past them. That's all I'm saying. It could happen. I hate to say it, but I could see them doing that. I don't know who, but I feel like they could. Because this show ain't over yet. That he had before, the scars that he had before. Yeah, because they never really say. My headcanon is that it's Belos abuse, like, specifically, because he attacks Hunter multiple times. Like, he's clearly caused some damage to the boy. That's my thoughts, my sad thoughts. What do you think it could be? What do I think what could be? I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier in reference to whatever I was talking about. I've been jumping around a lot. Oh, are you talking about Luce's palisman? What Luce's palisman could be? I was really hoping that it would be a bird. Because I want her to be an unofficial Clawthorn, and all the Clawthorns have birds. But because she specifically said in this episode, like, she's looking through the book of animals, and she's like, you could be a bird. And that immediately made me think that it's not going to be a bird. Because I feel like anything that she mentions isn't going to happen. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's just another drop of like, hey, here's another foreshadowing. It's going to be a bird. So I want it to be a bird. But I also think a bat would be cute. I think a bat would be cute. But I also could see it, I don't know. I feel like they could really throw a wrench at us. But I also feel like it should be special. It should be something that connects to the show in some way. And not just a random creature that we don't know. That's why I feel like it should be a bird. That's why I want it to be a bird. Because then it'll feel even more special, especially since we just lost Flapjack. We just lost Flapjack. Give us another bird. Those are my thoughts. What are y'all's thoughts of Luce's palisman? What is Luce's palisman going to be? What animal? Also, as I'm drawing the little vial, the fact that it's an owl made me think, has Hootie been around like a long, long time? Does Hootie know what's gone on with these Woodbine brothers? Just a random thought. Okay, you think it would be a dog or a snake? A dog. I hadn't thought of a dog. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Luce kind of is like a dog herself. So I think that would be fun, especially because like Amity has a cat, and then they have a dog and a cat. That would be cute. Snake, I've seen that mentioned before. I feel like a snake would be a challenge in the way of like movement of like, I feel like all of the palisman, well, I guess there's the chameleon and that doesn't really walk around that much, but I guess a snake could just be like curled up around her neck all the time. That could work. I think it will be a snake or a bat. We got another vote for snake. Why do you guys think snake? I think it's a fair assumption for sure. But I have seen that quite a bit, and I don't know what the and maybe there is no real rhyme or reason because we're all just shooting out random animals. But is there supposed to be a certain reason why it would be a snake? Is that mentioned anytime? Man, I do not even know where to start with this background. Makes me not want to work on the background. But I've kind of done most of everything else. Except I could go back to a couple of these. What about an otter with a dark side? That would be such a fun, like, connecting bit, is to make it, bring it back to the otter costume. Honestly, I would be all for that. She said, I have snakes for arms. Oh, yes, that's true. Okay, she picked up snake skin as a kid. That's true. She picked up the snake skin as a kid and is like, it, shed its pajamas. Okay, I'm on board. I am becoming more and more on board with the snakes. You've made me a snake believer. I was thinking back to the first episode when she brought snakes to school. Y'all, connecting the dots for me. I appreciate it. Yes, all about it. Snake. I am on Team Snake. That would make a lot of sense. Man, going crazy over here. I just hope we get it in the next episode and we don't have to wait till the very end. But maybe. To find out what Luce's talisman is. Team Snake! Woo! I honestly have no idea what I'm doing to try to make this look like a wooden carving. I just don't draw that very often. Do we have any drawing requests? I will do a couple before I need to leave. Because I'm to the point with this comic that I don't want to make decisions anymore. So if you have any drawing requests, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to try to start adding my dialogue to these. Yeah, I was really hoping to finish this today, but I don't know if I will. Can you draw loose, giving Bellows Hunter her jacket? Yeah, because literally all I've been doing is coloring this whole stream instead of actually drawing anything. Sorry. Lucen Hunter with the masks. Okay. At first I thought the Owl House was stupid, but when I actually sat down and watched the episode, I liked it. It took me so long to actually get into this show. Like, a surprisingly long time for someone like myself who watches a lot of animation. So I am right there with you. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I wasn't on board earlier, but I should have been. And then, of course, once I started watching it, I was like, yes, please. Okay, so he's got this Hootie mask going on. Hootie looking mask. It's kind of like that, I suppose. I need to look up a reference. But I don't have one on hand of the mask Luce wears. I should be looking on Tumblr, not Google, because Google doesn't know what I'm looking for. I know I had the ear, like the, not ears, the you know what I'm talking about. The horns. I'm sorry, this doesn't make for good live streaming when I'm just searching for the right image that I need. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it that easily. I guess I'm doing it from memory. I started watching at season 2B because I thought the show was stupid, but it changed my life. I mean, I didn't think it was stupid. I was just like, I'll get to that eventually, and I waited too long. The 2010s was a good decade. Yeah, because you got 2010s Steven Universe and Gravity Falls. What else is 2010s? Those are the two things that come to mind. I would say, like, in general, like, a lot of cartoons are good throughout, like, the past couple decades. And they're just going to keep getting better and better because the people who are growing up on things like the Owl House are going to come in to make cartoons, and then they're going to add more to the industry, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I feel like cartoons now are just like even just 10 times better than even when I was a kid. Except for Avatar. Growing up on Avatar was like choice, still the best. But yeah, I mean, not every cartoon is this crazy, but not every cartoon is a Steven Universe, I guess. Not every cartoon is an Owl House. But there are a lot of good shows that are made for lots of different reasons. Because gotta still have stuff for the youngins, and some stuff that's just fluffy and fun that isn't trauma. Adventure Time, Starverses, Amphibia. Yep. All good ones. All good ones. It was a good time. It was a good time. But oh, you know what? Yeah, because even in the 2010s, like you got like Over the Garden Wall, which is one of my favorite things in existence. So yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. These are what my starting sketches look like. Lots of squiggles. Okay, let's see. And because I don't have references, good references, we'll see what I can do with what I got in my brain. Sorry, harder to talk and also think about line art. So I do apologize. I need to extra focus. Man, and just when I got used to drawing his hair, they go and change it. Although I do kind of like the mullet, I'm not gonna lie. You gotta go. See you later. Bye. They go and change it on us. I also like the fact that like here I was like really thinking this is gonna be some big monster hunt kind of episode, and it turns into a possession episode. I like in how now in cartoons are starting to connect with adults and kids at the same time. Owl House is a great example of that because they really, really make their adult characters just as appealing. And it's not that it's not that there's more animation for adults. It's that animation, yeah, it's like you said, like it's for kids and adults. So yeah, we still have things that are like adult shows. And I mean that kind of like The Simpsons or whatever, right? But we have shows like this that you really can watch with the whole family and everyone's going to enjoy it. Because the adults in this show aren't dumb. They're actually really important to the plot, which I appreciate. Did I line that up? I did. It worked. You can never be sure. But that's the great thing about digital art is even if I had it wrong, I can just remove it. Okay, what he's got a rake. My favorite kind of cartoons and shows in general are ones with a plot. I would agree. For the most part, want to have something with an overarching storyline, especially something that I can theorize over, like this show. But I am a fan of stuff that is just kind of silly sometimes. That doesn't necessarily have a lot going on. I was going to use Bee and Puppy Cat as an example of that. But, like, Bee and Puppy Cat still has a lot going on. It's just that it's less intense. Like, it's definitely intense, don't get me wrong. But, like, it's not as crazy, I don't feel. And feels a little just more chill, I guess. But for the most part, I also just want more overarching storylines. You know what I'm finding here? I just need to give myself more room for this rake. There we go. Well, I just hope Hunter and Luce aren't stupid anymore and try to go defeat Bellows on their own and do all this crazy stuff by themselves. They need their friends. They're pretty great on their own, but they need their friends to help. This is a sad looking rake. It's a rake. Gonna call it good enough. Good enough rake. If I could remember what the king's mask is supposed to look like, that would also be awesome. So I'm just pulling it out of thin air. It is just harder to focus on line art and chatting. There we go. Hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. Copy and paste. I also don't know what a bat is supposed to look like. There we go. That's a bat. There we go. I'm sure there's some details missing about Luce's mask there, but got the vibe. There we are. And with that, I think we'll call it a day. So thank you for joining. And we made it through. We made it through thanks to them. On to hiatus. So best of luck. Thanks for joining. And